Welcome to Wired In. This month, we're continuing our discussion about lighting. As we've said before, the first step to any business technology project is talking to someone who knows what they're talking about. This month, we got a chance to sit down with Leon Mowadia. Leon, based out of New York, has worked with some of the biggest brands in the United States on business technology projects involving energy, involving lighting, involving a myriad of solutions. Leon brings his knowledge and experience. This month, we're talking mainly about, okay, I've decided I need a project. I've decided that lighting in particular would help my facilities. What do I do next? Who do I need to talk to? How do I start? Who needs to be on my team? What questions do I need to ask? As always, look in the show notes for links to the rest of the conversation and any other questions that you have. Put them in the comments and we'll add them to our questions we ask on our question and answer podcast, or we'll get back to you directly. So thank you so much, Leon Mowadia, for sitting down with us and talking and sharing some of your experience. Mm-hmm. So first of all, before we get started, how did you get into all of this?
Started as the Thomas Edison in my 5th grade science fair. So put the white powder in my hair. Don't need that now, obviously. But I started there. My father's business. I was in lighting business from when I got out of college. Been in it for 29 years now. We joined FSG about 13 years ago.
So you were going to, we were talking earlier, you were going to lighting conventions when you were 9 years old.
Yes, I was. National Association of Independent Lighting Distributors. So it was ingrained in me.
So you didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. Exactly.
Now you're working mostly out of the New York area, right?
Yes.
So what kind of projects do you work on mostly? What kind of customers are you working with?
So in the New York office itself, we do, large construction. So large, everything from remodels to new construction buildings. The city's booming. So we're doing a lot of business there. And then I work on specifically national retail accounts as well.
And obviously with some of the biggest brands in America.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I hope to think.
So we're at this point, we talked last week with Bobby about how do I know if I have an opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I'm a facility manager and I've thought about it, I've looked over my portfolio, and I would love to save money on energy and maintenance, but you don't know my company. I'll never be able to get this project done. So where do I start? What's kind of the first questions I need to start asking?
You really got to figure out what the threshold is, right? So first, is there a financial threshold? Is there a payback analysis that you have to be at a 36-month, 48-month, whatever it is for your company? And then what are the aesthetics? Is it an aesthetic improvement that you want? Is it only energy savings? Are you a hospitality? Are you retail? Are you commercial? So you got to kind of pull all that together. Is it single site or is it 1,000 sites across the country? And when it's 1,000 sites, that becomes an issue because they're all snowflakes in a different way. They're all a little different. So it's really kind of figuring out what those pieces are and then deciding to kind of come up with a plan to nationally go after it, because if not, you just bite off more than you can chew.
And that changes by industry. So if I'm in hospitality, I'm going to have to talk to designers. I'm going to talk to, what are those kind of people? How does that change from industry to industry?
Yeah, so if you're talking about hospitality, you're talking about restaurants, you got to bring in, definitely got to bring in your design team. So whoever the trusted partner is has to be able to bring the right product to that design team to help get it, because you could have a 36-month payback, but it could look absolutely terrible. It'll never get past design. So it's a lot of spinning wheels that actually never happens. So that's the first part, is getting design to buy in and then meeting the financial threshold at the same time.
So every company kind of has a different financial threshold. Someone right. 24-month payback, 36-month payback, yep. 5-year payback. How do you just negotiate that or just know that going in?
A lot of companies, we'll use retail, for example, for a second. They have it set. A lot of them are like, if you can come up with 36 months, we'll look at the project. If you can't come under 36 months, don't even bring it to the table. So that's where you really tie in all the utility rebates. You find the low-hanging fruit around the country, and that's where you're able to come up with, with good paybacks. But the problem could be you wind up, you want to go to something like a Type B LED that is just very labor intensive. You're removing the ballast, you're not putting a driver in, you're going direct line voltage. Things like that add to the payback.
Right.
So you really got to bring all those pieces together to come up with the right project for that brand.
So it's not just the cost of the light and the savings for the energy of the light. It may be how much it takes or how long it takes to install that light, or how much work it takes to install that light.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And also in the design process, we talked about the aesthetics of design, but I know from other projects I've heard people talking about it, it's also, you may not need as many lights, right? I mean, it's not always a 1-for-1.
Yeah, no. That's the beauty of where everything's going now. LED is very, you can design LED a lot of different ways than before. You'd go to a T12 to a T8, or a T8 to or a screw-in par lamp to just a screw-in LED. Now you can really change it, where you can remove, again, let's use a retail store, for example. There could be 4 track heads. They could be LED already, and you can have a regular Edison-based screw-in, and in that fixture, you could remove 4 of them, replace it with 2 new fixtures, save more energy. So go from LED to LED and still save energy.
And it's also a good opportunity at that point too with the design team to look. I know I heard in an industrial situation some people talking about, we use the space differently than when we designed the lighting. We need different kinds of lights in different kinds of spaces than we have now. So it really is a good chance to do a rethink of how the whole space is used, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's aisles. We always put in there's loggers that you can put in for controls, for sensors. And we had a customer that they said, they're a huge retailer, high-end specialty, Fifth Avenue type retailer, and Mother's Day and Valentine's Day are their biggest holidays. So they said 95% of the time these aisles are occupied. We put the loggers in, it was like 32%, right? So not only that, so now not only did we put sensors in and save them an additional 30% on top of the retrofit, we put in fixtures that we redesigned, got rid of their 8-foot fixtures, or the 4-foot fixtures, put in 8-foot fixtures, and reduced the fixture count by 50%, and reduced the energy by about 70%, add on 30% for the sensors and everything. It was tremendous.
We're building this community around you. So comment, communicate with us. Let us know what you'd like to see, what kind of topics would be great for you to hear, and what kind of people you'd like for us to talk to. That concludes the first little snippet of this conversation. Look for the next part where we're going to talk about audits. Until next time, bye-bye.